Hey there, so last year I was doing a stand-up show in the Gold Coast in Australia, and a few minutes before the show, I was just doing one show and I was preparing my performance, getting a bit nervous before I had to go on stage, and one of the front of house staff that worked at the theatre came backstage and said one of the most concerning sentences to me that I've ever heard in my life. She said, "Tom, are you known for fairy wings?" And I found myself saying, What does that mean? And she said, are you known for fairy wings? Like the people that come to your shows, do they wear fairy wings? And I found myself having to say the sentence, "No, to my knowledge, I am not known for fairy wings." And she said, "Oh, there's just quite a few people wearing fairy wings in the crowd." And I thought at first they were one big group, but then I realized that the fairy wings were coming in dribs and drabs. And at that point, I had what can only be described as an identity crisis in front of this woman as I grappled with the idea that maybe I am known for fairy wings in the Gold Coast area. I'd never performed there before. Do I give off a fairy wings vibe? Anyway, so that happened last year, and then next week I'm doing a show in Brisbane, and I'm recording it, and it happens to be on Halloween. And Brisbane is very close to the Gold Coast where the fairy wings fiasco happened, and then people are saying they're going to dress up in Halloween costumes. Instead of fairy wings, I have 3 suggestions of Halloween costumes. The first one, very spooky costume, is the laugher. Nothing's creepier and more Halloweeny than laughing. Ha 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 ha. Another idea for a scary costume to wear would be the clapper. This is someone who stands up and claps, particularly at the end of a performance. Very scary stuff. Very intimidating costume to wear, if you ask me. But the absolute best and most scary Halloween costume you could wear if you were coming to my Brisbane taping next week would be this. The person who walks around the room and asks everyone wearing fairy wings to please take off their fairy wings. This person is very subtle and creepy in the way they sneak around to make sure no one notices there were ever any fairy wings, and are very forceful, though, in the way that they request the fairy wings be taken off. This, by far, is the most scary and creepy and spooky costume you could ever wear if you're coming to my taping next week on the 31st of October at 8 p.m.